Alright guys, here we go. We're going to be putting up a pool today. It's the Intex 18 by 48. We're going to take you through everything it takes to put one up. The short version anyway. Got my area prepped, ready to go. I made some footers to go under the, out of some composite decking board to go under the feet to keep it from sinking in the ground, because I found that my last pool did that. Anyway, I'm going to get this one set up. And when I get done, I think I'll have about as good an Intex pool as you can possibly get as far as actually working and easy to maintain. So follow along and we'll get it going. So what I'm going to do first is lay down the tarp. We're going to get that laid out, and actually when I did this before, I let the tarp go out past the pool. I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to take the excess tarp and either cut it off or just flip it under the perimeter of the pool, because it became more of a pain in the butt to cut grass around with weeds growing through it and stuff than anything else. So we're going to get this laid out first. So a couple of lessons I learned from the last pool we did was making sure that obviously your ground is as flat as possible, as level as possible, as you saw in the previous video, along with getting it just as right as you can get it initially, because your pool's going to sit in this position for 4 to 5 years unless you're planning on taking it back down. So it really is important to get it set up right the first time, so you don't have to drain out all that water, fill it back up again. These vertical supports and horizontal parts, I really did like the way they went together. I didn't have to worry about the lock pins that go into the T-joints like on the old pool, as well as the T-joints from out of plastic instead of metal, which was kind of cool. That's one less thing to have to worry about rusting. And as you see, we got the top of the pool put together first, and then once you get that, you can start putting your legs in. It is important to make sure they are evenly spaced between where your bottom strap ties into your pool. But this process I definitely wouldn't want to have to do every year. It's a lot of work, and even more so taking them down, putting them away. And we did have to tweak it a little bit here to get it where it was flat up against the pool deck. So one of the things I learned last year's pool, or last time around, was these legs have a tendency to sink in the ground over time. So I've got these composite boards I went and got, and I cut them into 1 foot pieces, and we'll take and put them under the feet like that, so they don't have a tendency to sink into the ground as easy. And plus that'll kind of keep the weeds from growing around the foot. So I got 18 of those to go around the legs. So how do you get your pool bottom flat besides the sand? You kick and you kick and you kick and you kick, and you keep kicking until you can't kick anymore. And then you put on some shoes, and then you start kicking some more. Did I mention that you kick? Anyway, you gotta start doing this as soon as you start putting water in it, because as soon as the bottom gets a little bit of weight to it, it won't move. So you gotta start early, and it will eventually flatten out. Well, pool's set up. I do have the pump sitting over here, and it turned out, I think, just about spot on level. Let's see, because on this side of the pool, which was my high side, I've got 1, 2, 3.5 little squares there. If you look over here, got 1, 2, 3. That would have been a half, so I'm about an inch low right here versus there. I mean, and that I'm good with, because I've had it all. It was a lot worse than that, and this is the lowest point right here where the ladder sits. If you're curious, this is what I did with the ladder. Cut the legs off, set it up like that, and also your see my extra support from my feet. Hopefully they don't sink in the ground and cause things to get kind of out of whack. Thought about going back and cutting some extra boards to kind of fill in these spaces, and then staking them down with some long, really long nails, which I've done that before, and that will keep weeds from growing up to the pool, as well as keep the tarp from disintegrating, which might actually prove beneficial over the long haul. A little maintenance will be easier. The pool setup and all that I have for this video I will cover in the next one, because it deserves its own breakdown. I think you guys will find that interesting, so that'll be on part 3. So give me a thumbs up, guys. It really helps my videos, and we'll see you on the next one.